minted U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson was off to the races in his new role, meeting with a foreign leader a day after being sworn in, attending a bipartisan briefing at the White House, and pitching a short-term funding bill to prevent a government shutdown, with the deadline now just 3 weeks away. But who is the new top Republican in Congress? And what do his actions in the past tell us about what he might do as Speaker? Andy Sullivan is Reuters' Washington correspondent.
It's safe to say he's risen from obscurity. He was a little-known backbencher as late as Monday. Tuesday, he gets the nomination. Wednesday, all of a sudden, he's Speaker. So we're just learning about this guy. Before he came to Congress in 2016, he spent a lot of years as a lawyer for conservative Christian groups, doing things like opposing gay marriage, pushing for more restrictions on abortion, that sort of thing. Where he really stands out, where he's really been a leader, was in trying to overturn the 2020 election, trying to prevent President Biden from rightfully taking office. He wrote a legal brief in December 2020 that was trying to convince the Supreme Court to throw out results from states that Biden won and Trump lost. Now, he wasn't arguing that there was fraud or anything like that. The basis of his argument was that these states had changed their voting laws to deal with COVID, allowing more mail-in ballots, that sort of thing, and that somehow that made it unconstitutional. The Supreme Court threw out this argument. They didn't do anything with it. Biden won the election. But it's important to point out that Mike Johnson still has not said whether he thinks Biden is a legitimate president, whether he won the presidency fair and square.
Johnson could be in a more prominent position in January 2025 when Congress meets to certify the results of next year's presidential race. Could he influence the outcome?
Here's the Speaker of the House, one of the most powerful people in Washington. What if we're in a similar position a year from now? We have another election, Biden versus Trump. Trump is contesting the results. Could a Speaker, Mike Johnson, be in a position to do anything about this? The answer we've gotten from legal experts is basically no. When Congress comes together to certify the results, they're bound by a new law that passed last year that makes it difficult for them to do anything except for just sort of formally acknowledge that the election has taken place. It's now much harder to challenge the results the way they did in January 6, 2021. And on top of that, a House Speaker by himself doesn't have any special powers during this. You might recall the Vice President oversees the ceremony. Vice President also is just a ceremonial figure. The House Speaker is less than that. Now, of course, he could just contest the legitimacy of the law entirely. He could try to find some way to gum up the works, but that would really be going outside the laws that we have in place at this point.